If you are in the market for an affordable small car which offers you a lot of room on the inside and a lot of practicality, then you should definitely check out the new Datsun Redi-GO, especially in the 1-liter version of the car which we have for you today. But if you're planning to sell your old car first before buying the new Redi-GO, you should consider Cars24. Visit any of their 50 branches and sell your car at the best price. Not only that, Cars24 will also transfer the money into your bank account instantly and will also take care of all the paperwork, including the RC transfer. Well, so as soon as you step inside the cabin of the Datsun Redi-GO, you'll realize that it's a nice and airy place to be in. There's plenty of headroom on offer, and even though this cabin looks and feels a little Spartan, especially when you compare it with the Renault Kwid, which has that touchscreen system, remember this car is a lot more cheaper than even the Renault Kwid, so in that sense it is very good value for money. You get plenty of places to keep your odds and ends. You get 2 big bottle holders over here in the middle. You get a big tray where you can keep your cell phone and wallet over here, as well as a big tray here. The glove box really is a very tiny size, so that's something which you need to take care of. And even the door bins don't have too much of place in them, but then again, this is, remember, a very inexpensive and affordable car, so in terms of the pricing, there's plenty of place as well as utility places. Well, the best part about the Redi-GO is the fact that these doors open up really nice and wide, and the aperture is pretty big, so the opening is pretty big, which means that you can easily get inside this car. And the seats also are really tall, which means that you don't have to slouch in and get inside this car. You can simply walk into it and sit in these seats and get this very nice and high commanding view of the road ahead. And you do get a sense that you've spent your money well, because this car is very good value for money. One key highlight of this cabin is the fact that you get this AC vent, which is completely mounted. It's a fixed vent, you can't shift it around, and this one throws the air towards the rear of the cabin, which means that even the passenger in the back will not complain about feeling hot. Well, talking about equipment levels, there isn't much to talk about except the fact that even the base version of the car now comes with one driver's side airbag as standard, and you get a stereo on the top of the line version, as well as AC and power steering. And the front windows are also powered, but the buttons aren't over here, they're right over here in the middle of both the passengers. So that's something that maybe Datsun can replace and put it in their traditional version. But apart from that, as I just said, remember, it is an affordable car, and for the money that you're spending on this car does seem like very good value. Well, so it's good news in the cabin of the Datsun Redi-GO at the back as well. You get plenty of headroom, and people who are about 6 foot should be quite okay inside this car for sheer headroom. And the knee room is just about adequate. It's nothing to write home about, but there is plenty of place below the front seats where you can keep your feet. So there is decent flexibility as far as legroom is on offer, and it's definitely ahead of both its main rivals, the Renault Kwid, as well as the Maruti Suzuki Alto. Now, the floor panel also is pretty flattish, and if you have a third occupant in the middle, he should be quite okay. But it's not a very wide car, so that third occupant will only be comfortable for those short city trips, not for those big ones. Another good point about this car is the huge window area over here, which means that you don't feel claustrophobic on those long journeys. And overall, for the kind of money that is being charged for this product, it is decent value for money and decent in terms of the space as well as practicality as well. Well, so if you primarily drive in the city, then you will really enjoy the steering wheel on the Datsun Redi-GO, because it's a superbly light steering wheel. It's overtly light, so a lot of other car journalists will tell you that it's devoid of any feel and it doesn't have too much feedback. But to be honest, and people don't buy these cars to take them out on the racetracks, so this steering wheel is perfect for anyone who wants a hassle-free driving experience in the city. It's ultra light, as I just said, and doesn't take too much effort to twist and turn. And apart from the steering wheel, you'll also like the light clutch as well as the super light gearbox. It's a nice and easy gearbox to operate. And not only that, you get a nice view of the road ahead because you sit up so high. The windscreen is nice and big. The AP layer isn't very chunky. So you get a good view of the road ahead. You get a good view of the road behind you because the rear window also is pretty big. So this is the perfect, or not really the perfect. So overall, it is the ideal city car. It's one of the better cars to drive primarily in the city. And as I just said, it is a nice little package for people who don't want to hassle themselves too much or tire themselves too much when they're driving in the city. So how is the Redi-GO on the highway? Well, I have to say that in terms of overall engine ability, it's a nice car because the engine has adequate power for the highway. In terms of stability, if you keep it around 80 kph, it should be decent in terms of stability. But of course, if you do tend to raise the speeds up and take it up to 100, 110 kph, then the car will start feeling a little nervous because the steering wheel, remember, is overtly light, and the car does tend to feel a little light on its feet. So ideally, 80 or 90 kph, which are legal speed limits, are quite okay for the Datsun Redi-GO. Now, this 1-litre engine has more power than the 800cc engine, naturally. And the best part is that you can rev it higher. If you rev it higher, this car's engine doesn't really make that kind of noise that the 800cc makes. And it also has decent power towards the upper end of its rev band. So in that sense also, it is quite a nice and decent car. Now, it shares the engine with the Kwid, so you can expect similar levels of performance as the Kwid. And by that I mean that it is adequately powered for those trips. Braking also is pretty okay. Remember, it is an affordable and easy on the wallet kind of a car, so it's not the best, but it is adequate, and there aren't any reasons to complain about either the braking or the power delivery from the engine. While talking about the overall ride comfort, Datsun has chosen to set it up on the softer side, which means that if you have to negotiate those rumble strips and those badly patched up roads, it should not be too much of an issue. On the highway, you'll of course have to slow down for those big potholes, but yes, inside the city, if you have to tackle those badly patched up roads and those rumble strips, then this car will soak up those bumps, or most of those bumps, quite adequately, and will not have any issues whatsoever. So overall, as I just said, it's a nice car for the city because you sit up high, you get a good view of the road ahead. The light gearbox, light clutch and light steering make it an ideal city car, and refinement levels are also good. What's also good on the Datsun Redi-GO is its fuel efficiency, and currently we're getting figures of about 19 kpl, yes, 19 kpl on the onboard trip computer, which means that with the AC on, with 3 passengers on board, since we have been driving it for the last 2 days, it is a pretty good car to keep your wallet happy when you take it to the fuel station. Well, so in summary, the Datsun Redi-GO 1-litre offers you decent fuel efficiency, decent drivability, and lots of space inside the cabin, as well as its light steering wheel, which means that driving this car in the city is a very easy affair. And these are things that most buyers who want affordable cars, and especially drive in the city, are looking at. So should this car be on your shortlist if you're checking out a small affordable car for the city? Definitely yes. You should go ahead at a Datsun showroom and check it out for yourself. It's bye for now, and hope to see you soon.